Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Jacation Podcast. Today we have a couple of announcements as well as talking about our finishing up our 2020 trip to Yosemite National Park and the long drive home. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Jacob and this is my co-host slash co-star.
I'm Jane.
Good. That was the least awkward one we've had so far. I think so.
Okay.
I think so. 10 episodes in.
Yes.
And we're doing okay.
We can do this.
All right. So I just wanted to remind you all to follow us on Instagram at Jacation Adventure, on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So we've got a couple of announcements to get through. The first one is that as a graduation gift, Mom gave me this nice new video recording camera thing that
What's a camera?
Well, yeah, not a thing, it's just a camera. So we're going to be doing some cool stuff with that. Well,
it's
I
kind of
think
like
it's
a GoPro.
Yeah.
And it's waterproof.
Yes.
And yeah.
So we'll be doing some cool stuff with that starting in our Arizona trip in a couple of weeks. We want to do like a drive-through, like we'll get like some sort of dashboard holder thing, or well, one of the mounts might work that it came with, but yeah. We'll have to figure it out.
And we'll have a rental car too, so we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, so we want to do like a drive, like the Cactus Loop drive, and like record us doing that.
Jacob wants to do this. I would never watch a recording of someone driving because I get car sick enough as it is. I don't need to like relive that without actually going to a place. So Jacob can record, and maybe if you guys don't get car sick, you can watch it. I don't like stuff like that, but
well, you know, they're on YouTube too. So I mean, there's all types of stuff like this. So there's people out there who do like it.
Oh no, I know that. I just am saying I want like whatever you record from this while we are in motion, I will never ever watch, probably.
Yeah. So, and possibly a hike, a Grand Canyon, like down to the 1.5 mile turnaround.
Yeah.
So there's like straps that I could hook to my backpack and record that. So some fun stuff. And with me being in South Dakota, and if the scenic drive thing works out, there is plenty of scenic drives in South Dakota that would be great. Badlands, the Needles Highway, Custer State Park, the bison or the animal wildlife loop road.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff for you to do.
Yes.
So fun things lie ahead with this camera.
Yes, and that will all be on our YouTube channel. So all the more reason to go on there.
Yeah, we can maybe expand a little more into YouTube since we really don't do that much with it. I don't think.
Since our podcast is, you know, it goes up, but it's just like it just is the thumbnail the whole time, and that's not very compelling.
Right.
I mean, you can listen to it, but you know, it'll be fun to have something you can actually watch too. So we're looking forward to our expansion onto that.
Yes, it'll be fun.
Okay, and the second thing is a half Jacation thing, because I will be going to Colorado
after we get back from Arizona. When Jacob and I get back, he's going to go to Colorado with his dad for a long weekend there for some more national parks.
Yeah, so we will be visiting Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park and Great Sand Dunes National Park, which we're really excited for. So
yeah, I'm excited that you get to do that.
And yeah, so that's the 2 national parks in Colorado that I haven't been to. Well, none of us have been to.
Right, that we have not been to. So maybe we may have a guest star on one of the Jacations.
So
my husband Martin may be joining Jacob to talk about their Colorado.
Well, you can
trip,
be on there too,
since I won't be there. But we just reserved that this week, so that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob's got some big trips coming up, and it'll be fun.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good summer.
Yeah.
And well, it's kind of funny. We were just talking about this earlier. That this is off topic, but it's like it was the last day of school.
Yeah, today
for everybody. The seniors have been out for a couple weeks, but it's 50 degrees and cloudy. So happy summer.
Yeah, it's not summerish today, but
yeah,
it is.
And to our European friends, I don't know what that is in Celsius, so don't ask me.
Oh, yeah, it's just chilly today.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's not like May 28th would normally be.
Right. So anyway, shall we get into our Yosemite trip?
Yeah. You'll have to remind me where we left off.
Well, we were very tired. We came down from the Mist Trail and we went to go to El Capitan.
Right.
And so the other thing so the next thing that we wanted to do was go visit Glacier Point, which is an upper view from Yosemite that is absolutely spectacular.
Right. Yeah, so that was what we did the next day. I'm just going to probably let Jacob do most of the talking on this because, as I just mentioned, I get car sick. Well,
it was a bad day for you.
I have not really been that car sick for a few years, I think. And I don't know, was I driving?
No,
I couldn't have been driving.
Dad was driving.
Usually I drive, but I think this day I was just like, oh, well, you can drive and I'm going to enjoy. Well, that did not. So this day we were going to this beautiful lookout and I was excited about it and I let someone else drive and I did get quite car sick. I threw up.
We probably had to stop like 4 times for you to throw up.
Yeah, we wound and wound up these switchbacks up this mountain to get to where we were high enough to be. You're basically level with like half dome. So we were winding way up there and I was just like, oh my goodness, pull over. So he pulled over quite a few times and I did vomit on the side of the road. Yeah. I know, lovely story. But once we finally got up there, Jacob and Martin and Ben all got out to hike and I just honestly sat in the car in the parking lot.
You got out eventually, but
I did. But
we'll get to that.
Yeah, so you can talk about what you did.
So
I sat in the car.
So we entered through our entrance, the little rock arch entrance, and then we made a right before we got to Yosemite Valley and headed south, kind of going up a little bit before, not entering the valley. So we started to make our way up and it took quite a while to get up there.
Even more when you have to stop and let someone throw up. But yeah.
Yeah, that tends to happen. So when you, make some time. You might want to make this a day trip to see all the sites up there that you want to see because it took some time to get up there. It wasn't too long, but and it's not that spectacular of a drive. Like you're in the trees like the vast majority of the time until you get to the top, and you'll see this in a lot of pictures. It's like, and standing in the middle of the road and then this drop off and you can see Half Dome. And that's a really popular like photo spot. So it's like all of a sudden you're coming along and then the trees open up and it's this, massive view appears. So to the south, you can see where we were for our Mist Trail the day before. So you could see Nevada Falls, you could see Vernal Falls. Straight out in front of you, straight to the east, you can see the Sierra Nevada, Half Dome, which looks absolutely enormous from where it is huge. And then to the north, you can see Yosemite Valley thousands of feet down, and all the little sites that are in there. Yosemite Falls, which wasn't really going because we kind of went later in the season. So, but I mean, just an amazing view, and probably the prettiest view in the park.
Yeah, it was really nice.
And that's saying something because it's Yosemite. So, and there's railings. It's not like some of these vistas where you don't have any railings or anything. Like, this is a popular spot.
There was a gift shop up there. You could buy ice cream.
Yeah.
There were other, I mean, it wasn't just like a lookout spot. It was an actual like destination place, you know?
Yes. So that was awesome. I mean, we were up there for...
We were up there for quite a while, and you guys went out and looked around at some stuff while I just sat in the car, and then Jacob ended up just going by himself out hiking.
Yeah. Yeah. So none of them really up for hiking. They were all kind of tired from yesterday. Ben and Dad were. So I'm like, well, I'm still fine. Like, and I would really like to see this. There's a couple of vista points that I would like to go and view. So that's what I decided to do. So starting at Glacier Point, I decided to walk all the way to Taft Point, which is basically just this rim hike. If you're like walking along the Grand Canyon, it's kind of similar, like you're walking on top of Yosemite Valley. So it's super cool. And I think it's the Panorama Trail. So I start walking on that, and then you go up in the trees, and you pass by something that's called Sentinel Dome, which you can kind of go climb up. I mean, it's a pretty tall, one of the big tall granite domes of Yosemite that you can go up and see. I didn't really have time or really want to do that, but that's something that you can do while you're there. And I mean, just spectacular views all the way along. And so I got to Roosevelt Point, which it was named Roosevelt Point because there's a famous picture of Teddy Roosevelt, who was camping with John Muir, and he's like standing in front of Yosemite Falls, and it's like, this is where they decided that Yosemite Valley should be protected forever as a national park. So it's kind of like holy land for national parks fans. Like, this is the spot that saved all the, not just Yosemite Valley, but kept like the national park idea alive forever. So, and now all these countries in the world have national parks, and we have 63 here. So it's just like, I mean, it's a really cool spot that has ended up conserving like so much land just based on the conversations that happen there. And just an absolutely beautiful view as well. So back, and then you kind of go back into the trees a little bit. It's pretty. I don't remember it being too strenuous. Like, it wasn't very difficult. So I think, if you're in okay condition, you should be fine. Yeah. So, and you can turn around at any vista point that you want. It's not like...
Well, you were gone for like over an hour.
I went 6 miles, I think.
Probably longer than that.
Yeah. So then I got to Taft Point. Now you kind of have to be careful because the rangers who own our little cabin that we rented, they were telling me, and we had they came up and met us that morning.
Oh yeah.
And they were telling me about like the fissures at Taft Point, and it's like you walk along and it's like this just crack in the rock that you could fall through, and it's like thousands of feet, down to the valley.
Oh, and I'm glad I wasn't paying attention to this point, I guess.
And it was like, well, you weren't here for this. Like,
no, I'm talking about when they were talking about
so, and there's no guardrails or anything. So it's just like, be careful when you're going, if you go out to Taft Point, because, watch the ground and make sure there's ground there. So that's something to keep in mind. And I remember like it didn't really register with me at the time until I like came up, and I'm like, oh my God. Like I took like 3 big steps back. I'm like, oh, get me away from that.
That's kind of scary.
It was really scary. So you have been warned, avoid the giant fissures that are just there, because that you can fall through them, and they're just it's just like crazy. So Taft Point was absolutely beautiful. It's it's just another view of the valley, and you can see El Capitan, all the little village places down there. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning. And the Yosemite High Country, you can see some of that, which is, it's just all around spectacular.
I picked a really good day to be car sick, didn't I?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So, and I was just alone, and I had a little bit of cell coverage, so I think I like called you once and was like, I'm on my way back.
Yeah, I think you probably did too.
And so I really enjoyed my time up here. It was quiet, it was nice, not a lot of people. One thing to note is that you can park your car on the road up, and there's like a shorter path to Taft Point if you wanted to. I just walked to it, but you can get closer. It's not very close, but it is closer. So, something to keep in mind if you don't have a lot of time and you really want to see this, then I would for sure recommend doing that. Another point that's close to Glacier Point is Washburn Point. This is like a better view of the waterfalls and stuff where we just were on the mist trail. And so that's really beautiful. It's just more focused on the waterfalls, and you can see it better from up there.
Did you go there too?
Yeah, we stopped there for a couple minutes.
Who?
We did.
Oh.
On the drive down.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
This day it started out kind of real bad for me. And I think I took a nap in the car. Like I sat in there and was just like, So, I don't remember that part. Anyway.
Okay. So then we started to make our way back down for our daily trip to the gift shop, grocery store.
Yeah, I probably needed some like chips and Junior Mints, because that's kind of what I need sometimes, or York peppermint patties or whatever they have.
Right. So we made our way down.
Is this when we went to Mariposa Grove?
No, this is the next day. We're getting there, Mom.
Oh, okay.
So
is this all we did in this day?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because we were just tired.
Oh, okay.
So we did walk around the valley a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So we stopped at our visit or our shopping thing, and if you want to learn more about that, listen to the last episode for Mom's full-on review of.
I'm always reviewing all the gift stores.
So we decided to walk around a little bit because I think you were starting to feel better and just wanted to get out and walk a little bit. So there are many paved, like biking, walking trails through Yosemite Valley that are just flat and nice and beautiful. So we spent quite a while doing that. We visited Yosemite Falls, the bottom part of it. We walked through some meadows, kind of along the Merced River a little bit. I mean, it was really peaceful, but it is busy down there because that's where everybody wants to be, is on the valley floor.
Well, there's nothing strenuous about the valley floor, so.
No. As soon as you leave it, you immediately have to go up.
Right.
So, and that was our day. We drove back and we were just kind of just relaxed at the house because we were just tired.
Yeah, I'm sure we needed a day like that. I get all my days confused as to what we were doing, but I believe that we probably by this point needed a day like that where we just kind of relaxed a little bit.
Okay, so the next day was our final day in Yosemite before we started to make our way back home, ending our big 2027 park adventure. So we're going to visit Mariposa Grove, which is a grove of giant sequoias in Yosemite National Park. So on this day, we decided, and it was actually kind of weird that in our little town of Mariposa, that we could go either way to Mariposa Grove. We could go like in the southern entrance or in the normal entrance that we went into.
Didn't we pick a different entrance this time?
Yeah, we went into the southern entrance this time, the way we came in originally when we visited. So it was like equal time to each. So we're just like, we're kind of sick of our.
Yeah, let's do something different.
Let's, do something different. So that's what we did. We made our way down to Oakhurst again and then back up into the park through the little roundabout and into Mariposa Grove. Okay, so during COVID, we ran into a well, it wasn't a problem for us, but it may be for some people, depending on how much time they have and if they want to hike a whole lot, and that they weren't running the shuttles to Mariposa Grove from the little welcome parking lot. So Mariposa Grove is a few miles in from the road.
Oh yeah.
And this road is not open to people to drive. So you have to park at this parking lot, either take the shuttle, which wasn't running, or hike, which even if the shuttle was running, we probably would have hiked anyway, because we don't like shuttle buses unless we absolutely have to.
Right.
So that's what we did. You have to hike back or take the shuttle bus back. It's not really.
I don't remember this being like that big of a deal.
No, it wasn't. Like the trail wasn't strenuous.
No,
I don't think.
No.
So we started to make our way back, and it wasn't too scenic. That's the thing with Yosemite. It seems like some of the stuff, it's like you're driving through and it's just like, okay. Yeah. Like Glacier is pretty all the time, everywhere.
Right.
And it was just like, this is just not that, and not.
It's nice now that we're saying this, and Jacob's like showing me this map as he's telling this. I do remember this part now, that we did hike through. What was it, like a mile and a half or something to even get to the grove? But that was okay. It was a nice little
stroll.
Yeah, it was a decent hike. It was sort of uphill on the way there.
Yes.
But we weren't seeing any of the sequoias yet, but that was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's just a forested area. So then you get to this little plaza where the road comes in.
If there were shuttle buses.
If there were shuttle buses. And I think, well, now that I say that, I think you can drive back there if you're like handicapped. So, and they have like handicap parking there.
Okay.
But
that
I think that
right,
I think that's the only exception. So we started to walk through, and they've got a little sign that says Mariposa Grove of Giant Sequoias, which was part of the original Yosemite National Park. I mean, well, it was one of the first parts protected, not the original, if that makes any sense, before the area was enlarged. So these are like the first sequoias protected, or some of the first protected by the National Park Service. So the first one that you see, well, not the first one, but like one of the big attractions is a fallen sequoia. And this one it's called the Fallen Monarch. And you walk to the end of it. And I mean, it takes a while because the tree is like 300 feet tall.
Yeah.
And you can see the massive root system that comes out of it. Do you remember this?
I do.
It's just like,
I think I have a picture in front of it.
Oh my, it was just absolutely huge. I mean, the roots themselves are just bigger than most trees. I mean, it was just really cool to see, and you can get some awesome pictures with that. The next one is like Bachelor and Three Graces. That's there's some funny names back here, but so it's like this big tree, and then it's like three little smaller sequoias that are growing behind it. So the biggest tree in the Mariposa Grove is called the Grizzly Giant, and this one was spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was kind of weird. You remember it leaned? It wasn't like straight perpendicular. It was like kind of leaned a little bit. So there's a really cool little exhibit thing there that they have, and it shows like Grizzly Giant compared to like the Statue of Liberty and other things that are like that size, and it's just like, oh my gosh,
it's a really big tree.
It is. I mean, absolutely massive. And right around the corner is the California tunnel tree, which you can walk through, and it's a tree that's standing up, so you walk through the base of it. Now they don't do that, they don't cut through anymore because it's bad for the trees. So
we took some pictures in that tree and stuff.
Yeah, and we kind of ate lunch sitting by the Grizzly Giant.
Oh yeah.
So that was really cool. We've had lots of fun lunches. We had one by the Virgin River in Zion on this trip, and one at Panorama Point, and one in front of a giant sequoia. So lots of fun little
places for our peanut butter sandwiches.
That's right. So, I mean, Mariposa Grove is just awesome. And if you have limited time,
I thought it was really, I mean, even though we'd just been to Sequoia and everything, it was different.
Yeah, because some people told us, oh, you've just been to Sequoia, you don't need to go to Mariposa Grove. And I think I disagree with that.
Yeah, and we just really loved seeing the sequoias. And I think after our days of like hiking, really rough trails, the car sickness for me, it was kind of like, let's just go see some trees again. That's just kind of just a nice, peaceful thing to do. I mean, I have a feeling if I lived near trees like this, I would just be like, every month or so, I just have to go visit because it's just spectacular and it's peaceful and it's just, I don't know, it's just one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So I would say, yeah, this was a nice little trip for us. We kind of needed to just relax again. And this was something that's not strenuous. It's still in Yosemite, but just we took a little breather this day.
Yes, we did. So then we walked back, and there's more trails that you can go deeper into the grove. Like it's huge.
Yeah.
And there's all types of things you can see, but we were just kind of blah.
Yeah.
So
there were a lot of people coming out. We went on the early end, and there were a lot of people coming when we were leaving. So yeah, I was glad we were. But like lots of families with real little kids that they were dragging up through there. So
yeah, the kids were thrilled.
Yeah.
All right, so then we made our way back to Yosemite Valley for another.
I probably went to the store again. Is that what you're going to say?
Yes,
okay.
We did go to the store
one last time.
For the last time. It's a little bittersweet because.
Oh, no more stores for Mom.
Well, I mean, every time we go on vacation, I just get more. It's not, for many years, it was like, okay, I'm ready to go home. But this time it's just like recently for the past couple of years, it's been like, no,
yeah,
I'll just stay here.
Yeah, you want to stay. I usually am like, all right, I can go home now. I saw, but.
Yeah, I was not. So I was trying to enjoy it, but it was very bittersweet. Like it was just like, now we gotta go home.
Yeah. Well, I think also the road we were taking home was not going to be the most exciting thing we'd ever done. So, but that's all right. So we went to the store. I probably bought my final bunch of souvenirs or whatever I was going to buy. And then, back to our cabin to pack up and get ready for our long ride home.
Yeah. So we're not quite done with Yosemite. We still have to take the Tioga Road over the Sierra Nevada and back down.
So the next day when we get up, we are like destination Salt Lake City.
Yes. So we decided, because we really didn't have a plan on how we were going to get home. We were just going to improvise. So we decided that the fastest way would be go over the Tioga Pass,
which is in Yosemite still.
Yeah, the Mono Lake, and then take Highway 6, I think.
Yeah.
Across the very exciting and popular, very civilized
state of Nevada.
Yeah, the Nevada desert, up to Ely, I-80 through the Salt Flats, and into Salt Lake City. Yeah.
Whew. So I don't know what time we left in the morning, but we were in Yosemite still forever. It took us just kind of forever to get out of Yosemite itself.
So we made our way back in through the valley and then made a left. So we go up to California 120, which is the Tioga Road. And that was our exit to get out. And I've said this before, the Sierra is not the Rockies. There are very few ways that you can cross the Sierra Nevada, and this is one of them. So if we were to go the other way, we'd have to go way down south of Sequoia, or
the way we came.
Exactly. Or up quite a ways to Sonora. And it's just a roadless wilderness in this particular part. So this was our best bet. So we started to make our way up. And it was really pretty to see the high country of Yosemite, because that's kind of like, I don't know, underrated, I would say. Like most people don't visit it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going along. There's one view that I wanted to see, which was Olmsted Point, named after Frederick Olmsted, the guy who designed the Capitol grounds. Oh gosh, what's the park? Oh, Central Park.
Oh.
And he was instrumental in like conservation matters like this. So he's got a point named after him, and it kind of looks back at Half Dome from the other way, and you can see like the valley and stuff. So yeah, it was really cool. We passed by all types of stuff. There's the Tulumne. How do you even say that? Do you know? Tulumne Meadows.
Yeah, something like that. I honestly don't know.
And Lambert Dome and all kinds of stuff up there. I mean, it was a really beautiful drive.
It was, but I was like, by this point, I'm like, I'm ready to go home, and we're not only still in California, we're still in Yosemite.
Yeah. And we're still going up.
Yeah, we're still going up, and we have to go over. So we went up over this pass and back down on the way out. We're really close to Nevada. We did make a mistake somewhere along here.
Yeah.
And we stopped to get gas at this little place. And then I think when we left there, I think the exit that we should have taken was like probably really close to where we got gas. And all of a sudden we had missed it.
Yeah.
And we didn't realize we missed it until we were pretty far down. So once again, we had made a mistake. We went really far south when we should have just been going east into Nevada.
Yeah, so we made our way back down the other side, stopped at Lee Vining to get gas, and then missed our exit. And so
is that what I just said?
Yeah, but I'm just
okay.
I'm just skipped a little bit, so I'm just trying to
okay.
reiterate. And then so we were making our way down like 395 for a long time, like near Bishop. And I'm just like, I thought we turned and I was confused.
Yeah.
And then it's like
sleep or something.
I
don't
think
know.
so. And I was looking for my earbuds.
Oh, that's right.
And then it's like, I don't know, you guys didn't know we were supposed to turn and I didn't tell you, and I was trying to look, and then it was just like
all of a sudden I'm like, where in the world are we going? Like I feel like by this point we should be.
And then I saw signs for Bishop, which I had seen in like videos from this RV guy that I watch, and I'm like, Bishop, we shouldn't be that far south.
Yeah.
So that made me realize
we missed our turn.
Yeah, so I think we had like 100 miles. Oops.
Yeah, to the day that was already going to be long.
Yes. So then we started to make our way back up.
Right.
Fixing our mistake.
We never really had to turn around. We just got on the highway that we needed to get on, just at a different point.
Yeah. So then we crossed into Nevada.
Yeah.
And the excitement began.
Yeah, Nevada is really, unless you're in Vegas or
Lake Mead or
Reno or something,
yeah.
then you're kind of like, there's just really a whole lot of nothing. And we were in for some nothing. We did see some wild like horses in the road.
Yes, we did.
I've never seen that before.
That was bizarre.
Yeah, on a highway too. All of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, there's like these like Mustangs, kind of like, it was weird. Like what? We saw that.
So Highway 50 through Nevada is the loneliest highway in America.
But
if that's the loneliest, then this must be the second loneliest.
Yeah, we were on 6. So we drove along and
to Tonopah, I think that's what it was called. Yeah, weird little town. Were we through there?
There were like 2 or 3. We had looked ahead and had seen that there were only like two or three towns that we were even going to pass on this road that were any sort of
civilized at all.
Yeah, at all. And that's really not saying
Oh, that is. So we stopped at Tonopah, I guess.
Something. Was that where the Clown Motel was?
Yes, the Clown Motel. That's right.
I just was laughing about this because there was this clown themed motel that was right by it. So I had taken some pictures of it because it was just funny. And then recently I read an article or something about the clown themed motel, which I was like, oh my gosh, we've seen that. It was just this
unfortunately
dumpy looking place with like out in the out the sign for it was like this clown like on a unicycle or something. I mean, it was
kind of creepy.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy. Like, I'm not afraid of clowns. I know some people are, so that would be just funny. But
yeah,
we went through there. Then we went through.
And so this is where I took over.
Oh yes,
driving. This is the longest I've ever driven.
Yeah. So Jacob, I mean.
So you go through and it's like flat for like 30 miles, and then you'll go like up a little mountain peak and around, and it'll have all these bends and turns and back down into another valley.
Yeah, which was weird because you don't really feel like you're going. I remember Jacob was like, he actually drove over a mountain pass, which was not like any pass that you would think of like in Colorado or anything like that. I mean, but it was just like, oh my gosh, you are actually driving like.
Yeah, it was my first like mountain driving experience.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't huge, but they were big.
Yeah.
You know, bigger than what we have here.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So we drove there. There was another town. I believe there were like two.
Yeah, little things. We drove by a semi truck. And it was like really weird, like the wind was so bad.
Oh yeah.
It was like it scared the crap out of me because it was like all of a sudden, because there's nobody out on this road.
Yeah, there was nobody.
And there's this semi truck, and it was just like shook our whole car, and we were like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we did this. We drove.
The nice thing is that we never had to pass anybody or deal with traffic.
No.
Because there was none.
There was nothing. Then we drove by us when we started to get like sort of into some more, I don't know, it started to seem like a little less bleak. The road kind of turned like north-ish, and we went by a sign for Great Basin.
Yeah, I knew it was close because
we were like, oh man.
Yeah, we drove through the town of Eli, which is like many people stay there if they're going to visit Great Basin National Park.
Like,
so.
Oh wow.
But we did not. We kept on. We restrained ourselves and kept on driving and getting hungrier and hungrier.
Right.
Until we reached the town finally of West Wendover.
West Wendover.
Which is on the border between Utah and Nevada.
So we had been researching. We were like, okay, what are we going to eat? And of course, by this point, we all wanted some Mexican food. So we researched that. We found a place that had really good reviews on Google.
It was in like a trailer.
Yeah, it was. It was like, I think we'd even read like, don't let the outside of this place fool you. And we were just like, okay, like how bad could it be? And it was kind of bad, but this food, and this is again, one of those things where we're like, are we just hungry or is this food awesome? But I think it was pretty awesome and it was cheap.
Oh yeah.
Are you looking it up?
It's called the Salt Flats Cafe.
Yes, Salt Flats Cafe. So we're getting close to Salt Lake City, and we're getting close to the Bonneville Salt Flats. So,
which is home to a bunch of, they do races there every year. It's where the land speed record is. Yeah. And they had all this stuff on the walls about that.
So this place where we ate had all these like stuff about the Salt Flats, which were coming up. But we ate at this really good Mexican place. Like I said, cheap. They came and put chips in front of us, and we were like, oh.
Yeah.
And the people they kept bringing us more, but I think they were like, what is wrong with those guys? wow, you don't even know how far we've driven today. But yeah, that was a really good place. Starting to get, I mean, it's getting to be evening, but we wanted to visit the Salt Flats.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember which side of the border we were on, but we were on the Utah side by 970 feet. I just measured it here. And a quick little thing, I'm going to mention some history here. So in this town of Wendover, there's something called there's this little airport, and it has this hangar, and it was where the Enola Gay was housed, which is the plane that dropped the nuclear bomb.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah, so that's kind of like, and I didn't know that until afterwards.
Yeah, I think we saw it on one of those aerial Americas, didn't we?
Yeah, so just something, I mean, if you're through there, just a little, bit of useless knowledge that you can spread around. So we made our way onto our wonderful I-80, and then it's a straight flat thing, and you get to start to go through the Bonneville Salt Flats, and you were really excited about this.
This was super cool. And a friend of mine had been there a few years ago, and she's like, I just want to tell you one of the coolest things I've ever seen is these Salt Flats. And I said, oh, and she's like, so, I mean, I hope you really think they're as cool as I do, but I think they're awesome. And she was right. It was really, really neat. So you're just driving, and like all around you, it's like, looks like snow, but it's salt. And we knew that the Bonneville Salt Flats little speedway area was coming up, so we exited for that. It was, I don't know, it was really kind of fun.
It is. So you just take this little exit, and it's actually a Bureau of Land Management site, and you pull off, and it's like this. It ends at this just like little cul-de-sac.
Yeah. Yeah, it basically is. You just drive down to the end, and then suddenly it's like there's a sign just in the middle of the salt, and it's just like Bonneville Salt Flats, and you could just park anywhere and get out and like walk out onto the sand or salt. And we took some pictures by the sign and stuff, but then you could just drive your car on the Salt Flats. So,
and that's what people are doing.
Yeah, people were doing it, and you can just really go as fast as you want or anything. So my husband was like, I'm going to do donuts. So he got in our little Pilot and started like, and I was like, I'm not having any of this. So
I got out too.
Yeah, Jacob and I got out, but we videotaped it, but he like did donuts in it, and
in our Honda Pilot.
Yeah, and it has some sort of, I don't know, something that prevents you from like sliding. I don't know what you would
traction control.
Yeah, and this one guy was like, said something like you had to do a backward donut in order for the traction control not to work. But I don't think Martin did that. I think he just did a frontward donut. But anyway, did some donuts, and then he's like, you need to drive on this. And I said, okay. So I get in there and I start driving, and you can go as fast as you want, but it's so weird. It's so vast. You can't tell how far
there's no depth. I mean, there's no trees or anything, so you have no depth perspective of how far anything is.
So I start driving, and it's like, it's hard to get like good traction on this because it's just like salt, and it's just, I don't know, but I could have probably gone a lot faster, but it freaked me out because you were just like,
you were like panicking.
And it would be, normally you'd think I would love something like this, but I was just like, oh my gosh. So anyway, we got out,
and there's that guy, the one who told us, you got to do the backward donut. He had like a little racer, like a custom racer that's made for
stuff like that,
like racing on these salt flats.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to see that.
It was fun. I mean, but by this point it's kind of starting to get dark, and we had, how far out are we? Like an hour even still to get into Salt Lake. So we did just reluctantly get back on the road and start driving. And this is when we got into this storm.
There were, even before the storm, the wind was bad. There was semis
turned over
on the road.
Yeah. So you're just driving down the road. There's salt on either side of you. It starts to get really, really windy. There's semis that are just like flipped over.
And you can see this dark, ominous cloud.
We're just driving toward this dark cloud, and it's like, and then it just starts pouring, and then you're like in the middle of this flat salt thing, and it's just pouring, and it was just really, it was quite scary, actually. We drove out of it finally, but I mean, it was kind of scary. So we drove, finally got to Salt Lake, where we had made reservations near the airport.
Yes.
So we were kind of just by the airport, and we were just, by this time we were pretty much done. It was a very, very, very long day. I think we just went into that hotel and just crashed.
Oh yeah, we stayed at the True by the airport.
Yeah, I think I had a free night here. It was one of the new Hilton brand things, which is like a True TRU.
Yeah, we stayed in that in Grand Junction.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. Oh.
No, we stayed in a Home 2 Suites in Grand Junction. And this is something different. This was really like one of their like lower end brand of hotels. I mean, it was fine, but there was no carpet, and therefore it was really loud. Like just nothing to soak up the noise. So, I mean, it was an okay place. I think it was real inexpensive and stuff, but it was fine just for one night. But I don't know if they're all made that way. They're just loud. So,
yeah,
I preferred the Home 2 Suites, the way that was set up, and like that brand of thing. But this was fine. It was a place to sleep, and we needed it. It had been a very long day.
Yeah, so this is our first time driving through Salt Lake. We'd flown in there before.
Yeah.
We were going, where were we going?
Hawaii.
Oh yeah, we were going to Hawaii. So, but I really like Salt Lake.
Yeah, the next morning when we got up, we drove like through the actual Salt Lake City, which I'd never been out of the plane there.
Yeah, so for our next leg, we would make our way through so out of Salt Lake on I-80 through southern Wyoming, Snore, through Nebraska to
Grand Island.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we thought about trying to make the drive from Salt Lake all the way home, and we were just like, no, we just can't. So the next day, there's really nothing to say about either of these days. It was just
there is.
Okay.
I mean, when we were leaving Salt Lake, we saw, you go through those mountains, which are
the Wasatch Mountains.
Yes, which are very pretty. And I really enjoyed that. There was some, you could see some of the Olympic ski jump courses, and like some Winter Olympic stuff from 2002. So, I mean, that's really pretty. And then you get out of it, and it was just like, okay, now vacation's really over, because it's like we're out of the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's, I love Wyoming. I love Yellowstone and Teton and Devil's Tower, but oh my God, Southern Wyoming sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we've driven it the past 2 years. It doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you, but.
Well, I think it was my mood wasn't very good, because it's like, again, I didn't want to stop traveling around. So, if we made a left turn and went up to Yellowstone, I'd be happy with that. So, I was just
yeah,
it just drives me nuts. And I think we ate it like in Arby's in Rock Springs.
Yeah, I think we did too.
And then we made our way to Grand Island. Yes.
Yeah, Grand Island. We stayed at a Comfort Inn, and that was actually a really nice hotel. For the fact that all we did was sleep there and get up the next morning pretty early and leave again. But that was a decent place. Grand Island, there was nothing to really see there. It was just a place for us to stop along the way. There was no reason for us to be there, I don't believe, other than just to sleep and then get up the next morning and drive back to Kansas City.
Yeah, so again, just more boring. There's just nothing.
There's nothing to talk about.
I'm sorry, there's just nothing exciting about Nebraska or southern Wyoming.
Or northern Missouri.
Or, just blah.
Yeah.
So eventually we made it home. And that wraps up our 7 national park trip.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So we've had quite a few episodes on this. So we we went through Kansas, we stayed in Grand Junction, went to Colorado National Monument, Capitol Reef, then Bryce Canyon, then Zion, Valley of Fire, Lake Mead, Las Vegas, Death Valley, Sequoia, Kings, Yosemite.
This is making me tired.
Salt Lake, and that was our trip.
That was quite a trip. I'm yawning because I can't even. Yeah, that makes me tired.
So, what did you think of Yosemite?
Very beautiful, but just kind of, again, like not super accessible as far. I don't know. There was a lot of driving involved for it. Oh, it's gorgeous though. I mean, I'd recommend going there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one of my favorite parks, honestly. I mean, beautiful, yes. I don't know. You know me, I like stuff that's just easier to do, and this was not super easy. So, but it was nice.
Yeah, I liked it too. I mean, I'm gonna be just brutally honest here. I think I like Zion better.
Oh yeah, I definitely like Zion better.
But I mean, Yosemite is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably in my top 5 for sure.
It's beautiful.
And I would really recommend it. I mean, it was difficult for us because we were driving. It may not be difficult if you're flying.
Well, yeah, you'd still have to. I don't know. I still think it would be tough to get there, regardless of how you did that. But.
Yeah, if you're flying into San Francisco, it'd still be a drive. So, I mean, it's not very accessible.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm glad we went. I don't know that I really need to do it again. There's other ones I'd pick as like do-overs, but no, I mean, it was very pretty. Yeah.
Well, I would go back for sure.
Yeah.
And I want to. There's many things in the high country. There's Hetch Hetchy Valley, some of the groves, other Sequoia groves that are awesome that aren't as visited that I'd really like to see. So, there's some stuff that,
go for it.
I'd like to go see, which I will eventually again. So, and, I look forward to that. So, all right, now we'll talk bigger picture. What did you think about our trip in general?
Oh, it was great. I mean, we had a really good time. We always do have really good vacations. They're really, really big.
I think they usually get bigger every year.
They do. I think we're going to relax a little bit more this year.
We're scaling back, and we're not quite ready to announce what we're doing yet, but soon.
I just keep yawning. Maybe just talking about this and it being the last day of school, I'm just like, I'm sleeping.
Yeah, right. So that wraps it up for us. So Maybe it's a bit shorter. I actually can't see the time on this, but I don't think we've been talking for as long as we normally do.
Oh, really?
So with that, again, a reminder, there's lots of pictures from Yosemite National Park and all of our different adventures on our Instagram, especially. And go ahead and follow us there. Get ready for some fun stuff from YouTube.
We may be camera going.
I know we may be testing that camera soon with like a drive of downtown Kansas City. So,
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But something to test it with. So,
right.
And just something a little bit scenic. I mean, it is a big downtown. So,
okay.
Be looking forward to that. Facebook and Twitter, and our Instagram stories will be ready to go when we go on our trip on June 10th.
Yep.
So you'll probably get to see our faces for the first time.
Yeah, and then right after that and then Dad may have to do a guest spot on Jacation.
Yeah, so we'll probably have 2 or 3 parts out of our Arizona trip, and then
maybe
some more out of Colorado. So, all right, well, that wraps it all up. Thank you all for listening. We're glad that you did. So, bye, everybody.
Bye.